Good afternoon. This is Matt Sedona Wolf from the Sedona Indian Jewelry Gallery. Today I want to talk about turquoise jewelry that is using turquoise from the Carico Lake mine. Carico Lake, before it was called Carico Lake, was known as Stone Cabin Mine. It's a very interesting stone. Let me give you a little bit of history about Carico Lake. Carico Lake Mine is in Lander County, Nevada. Lander County produces a lot of high-grade turquoise. Of course, its most famous mine is Lander Blue. In general, Lander Blue is the most expensive turquoise in the world. And frankly, Carico Lake, I think, is undervalued and underappreciated. It's kicked out some beautiful specimens, and we'll get into that in a minute. But let me talk a little bit more about Carico Lake in general. It produces everything from sea foam, which are nuggets that are kind of bumpy, consequently the name sea foam. It's a fairly large mine in an active district. In addition to being known as Stone Cabin, it's also been known as Aurora. The turquoise that comes out of Carico Lake is a fairly hard turquoise. There's not too much gem turquoise. Well, there's not too much gem turquoise no matter what mine you're talking about. But Carico Lake in particular, to find gem specimens is quite difficult. The collection you're looking at here is the result of about 10 years worth of looking for it. Some of the pieces that I've had were sold, some of the pieces weren't. It runs the gamut from a beautiful lime green with a gold matrix to a darker green. The blues run from a dark blue to a bright sky blue or robin's egg blue. The matrix goes from spider web to almost like a cloud design, which you'll see in that large specimen, that blue specimen in the bracelet. Why don't we just get to it and let's talk about each individual piece of turquoise that you're looking at here. I'll take this display apart and let's look at each piece and talk about it in general. Well, here I am back again. The first specimens of Carico Lake I wanted to talk about are those that I have in a lime green. The lime green is a new color, frankly. I don't recall seeing that years ago. Suddenly it appeared on the market for a short time and was gone. I have a few prime examples. I never saw a lot of it. It was always expensive. And frankly, I don't see much of it anymore at all. I think the pieces I'm seeing now are the result of mining that was done probably 4, 5, 6 years ago. In any case, this is a beautiful necklace made by Aljo. It has 6 perfectly matched lime green specimens. The matrix just complements it perfectly. Is a gold color patterns. Really well done. I'll give you a moment to look at it and then we'll move on. This specimen is absolutely knock your socks off. That same lime green, but it's a fairly large piece. Frankly, I think it's one of the largest pieces of this lime green that I've had. Just gorgeous. The lime green is mounted in a gold bezel, and I've got to tell you, the gold and the lime green go perfectly together, better than the silver, I think. There's some matching Carico in the band that goes around the bracelet itself. This is a Wes Willey piece, Charles Loloma inspired, I think. It has that Loloma feeling. Sometimes I think Wes has channeled Charles Loloma perfectly. If Mr. Loloma was alive, this is what he'd be making, in my opinion. So let's take a moment to look at this and move on to see what's next. Well, I think you can see without me saying a word that here is an absolute monster piece. The lime green, it just glows. Steve Lawrence and Marion Denaport did an incredible job here. The stones all match perfectly, simply exquisite. The tufa casting, marvelous. This is a butterfly maiden, a Hopi butterfly maiden. It's a ring, just beautiful. There's really not a lot to say. Take a good look at it. The piece speaks volumes. Before I forget, let me mention that all of the pieces you see are available They may not be available tomorrow, but at the moment they're here and they are for sale. This YouTube video is part of the SedonaIndianJewelry.com website. If you want to see details and more images of these pieces, please go to SedonaIndianJewelry.com and put in a search for Carico Lake Turquoise on the website, and these pieces will pick up and come on your screen. For example, if you want to see an Aljo piece like that necklace I saw before, you can put in a search for Aljo and see that necklace, plus all of the other things Aljo has done. And here we have another Denapa Lawrence piece. Steve Lawrence, Marion Denapa, his wife. Just a beautiful ring. Another perfectly matched Carico Lake lime green gemstone to that butterfly. Just gorgeous. You really don't see a lot of this. Don't be misled. It's taken me literally years to find these pieces. You're not going to walk down to your corner turquoise store and say, I want a piece of lime green Carico Lake. It's not going to happen. If I was actually looking for lime green like this, I'd probably be looking for years and never find one. But anyway, this is another gorgeous piece. A solid gold, tooth cast ring. There's lightning and rain clouds on one side, lightning on the other. Just beautifully cast. A perfect example of Denapa Lawrence work. Take a moment to give it a look, and I'll be back with another. Now here's an interesting piece. This is an old Lyndon Sosi piece, probably about 10, 12 years old. Lyndon's work has gotten a lot more sophisticated, but this is what he used to do. Very creative, inexpensive too for that matter. It's got two pieces of matching Carico, one on each side of that barrel you see, all silver. I don't know the price offhand, but if you go to the SedonaIndianJewelry.com website, you'll find it there. I'm almost certain it's not very expensive, but it's a beautiful piece, frankly, probably underpriced. A lot of times things stay on the website. I don't change the prices from years ago. No one realized, even as far back as 5 or 6 years ago, how scarce this turquoise would become. To try to find gem turquoise that has that beautiful zat to it, the brilliance, the depth of color, no one realized. It was always scarce, but no one realized it's downright rare now. So my suggestion is grab it while you can. Anyway, take a good look. Got a little more to show you. Thanks. Hang on. This is probably more what you think of when you think of Carico Lake. It's a blue-green. The color is subtle. It doesn't really pop like that lime green does, but beautiful nonetheless. Rare. Carico Lake is really the only mine that produces turquoise in this color. This particular piece, in my opinion, the silver work and the coral go together perfectly. It's fairly new. It's only a few years old. It was made by Ernie Lister, but Ernie has a knack of creating new jewelry that could be 100 years old. If it wasn't for the fact that he puts his hallmark on there, you wouldn't know the difference. He uses the same tools that were used years ago, the same methods, even the same silver. The silver that's on here and the silver that's on a lot of Ernie's old pieces come from their old coin silver. So you can't tell from the composition of the silver. You can't tell because the tools are any different, and you can't tell from the workmanship. Ernie is as good as any silversmith. I think that made the pieces like this over the years. His work is exquisite, and he has a knack for matching the style of the silver work to the stone. I can't think of a better use for this beautiful little Carico Lake gem. I'll bet you've never seen spiderweb Carico Lake before. I hadn't either. Spiderweb, by the way, is also called eggshell. How when an eggshell breaks, sometimes there's these tiny little fractures. And that's what it looks like with the color. The stone is not fractured, of course, but the colors just go off in these beautiful small directions. This particular piece is a blue-green. It reminds me to some extent of Lone Mountain, but the color is completely different. Lone Mountain would be blue. This is more on the green side, blue-green. In any case, a beautiful bracelet. That's a bear claw design by Steve Lawrence. The inside of the bracelet is full of petroglyphs and pictographs. All silver, absolutely stunning bracelet. Reasonably priced too. I don't remember offhand what it was, but it won't break your bank. I'll be back with another. Photographing boring jewelry is kind of like putting hubcaps on a Ford assembly line. day after day after day. Drive me crazy. So I try to show you the best things I can find, and I'm pretty hard to please. And here are two stunners. These pieces are from Aljo. They came my way about the same time. One's a bow tie, one's a matching pendant. This is that incredible lime green turquoise. Carico Lake, it frankly doesn't get much better than this. Just beautiful. Aljo, of course, is an award-winning Navajo silversmith. Actually, he won Best Silversmith of the Year at Santa Fe in 2009. So you're not going to find silver work much better than this, and you're not going to find Carico Lake much better either. Two examples. They're not particularly large, but they're certainly large enough to show off what they are. Well, let's move a bit away from the green Carico and let's move into the blue Carico Lake. This is a mind-blowing piece, absolutely mind-blowing piece. You will not find larger. It's probably at least 1.5 inches, 2 inches by 1.25 inches. This is probably the largest piece of Carico you'll ever see. Largest piece of Carico I've ever seen. I'm talking about finished, polished, hard Carico, just gem quality completely. But it's almost like looking at clouds. It's billowy. There's light blue mixed in with dark blue. The light blue is rimmed in a dark blue color. Just beautiful. This is the kind of turquoise that people, frankly, it's expensive no matter when you buy it. And it'll keep going up. There's just no more like it. I think this is the only piece like it I've ever seen. I bought this from Jennifer Curtis when her dad, Thomas, was alive. He and I had been doing business for quite a while. He brought by his daughter, introduced me to her, and I was just blown away. Look at that bezel. Look at the work that went into that bezel. Absolutely perfect. It reminds me of a fine line Acoma piece of pottery. It makes you wonder, how does she know each piece exactly the same? There's no beginning, there's no end, there's no gaps, there's no imperfections. Just beautiful work. And this is heavy silver, by the way. Very heavy silver. Let me turn it a little bit so you'll be able to see it a little more. Look at this. Look at the thickness of that. You don't see it. Not very many people do that work like that. That silver will never bend. Frankly, it's shaped and bent with hammers, leather hammers. Jennifer is noted for the very heavy, high-quality silver work she does. And this stone, let's take a look at that stone. Just stunning, absolutely stunning. So let me kind of get this a little better for you. There it is. Can't do it much better than that. Anyway, enjoy it. I don't know why it's still here, frankly. Should have sold years ago, but I'm not complaining. I love it. Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We're down to the last piece. This is another Ernie Lister. I've told you about Ernie Lister. By the way, did you know that Ernie Lister is the silversmith who taught Perry Shorty? You can flip a coin. I don't know who will win, Perry Shorty or Ernie Lister. Their work is just marvelous. It's new, old Native American silver jewelry. These are old designs, not copies. These are old designs, as if they channeled themselves back 100 years, 150 years, and decided to make something as if Native American jewelry was just beginning. In this particular piece, what it is a sunburst. You can see the silver work, but the Carico Lake is about as blue-green as it can be without turning blue. There's just a touch of green in it, so it's on the cusp of going from green to blue. The patterns in it are amazing. It's one of those pieces you can just stare at it and meditate. It's just a beautiful piece. The turquoise and the coral are a perfect match. Well, that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said earlier, all these pieces are available and for sale at SedonaIndianJewelry.com. Give it a look. We probably have the largest selection of authentic, handmade, gem quality turquoise Native American jewelry. We work hard to keep our stock current, our product high grade. Give it a look. Give us a call if you decide to order. Thanks again. Enjoy your day. Bye.